Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about Around the Verse 3.8. I do every week a recap around that show, and this week I'm just a little late because I went to a comedy club right tonight, so I didn't have time to watch ATV, so let's get just straight into it and let me, talk you along this Around the Verse, which was pretty interesting. First of all, Star Marine is coming in 2.6. Probably most of you guys know it, but we will probably see a lot more around CitizenCon, which will happen in 2 weeks and 2 days. Also, more flight balance changes are coming, and new performance shots for Star Citizen 3.0 are just scheduled just a little bit after CitizenCon. So let's get straight into the topics we will cover today. We will cover some weapons, we will cover some technical stuff around stabilization, and we will cover some modularity on buildings and satellites. So here we actually got the sniper rifle right now, which you're seeing right here, which looks pretty cool in my opinion. They're mostly talking about unifying all those styling guides. So you basically get the same like you have with ships. For example, you got Aegis Dynamics and you got Drake Interplanetary, which all have the unique style guide. So you can easily see a Drake ship and see it's Drake, or you see an Aegis ship and you can really see, okay, that's Aegis, because with all the materials they are using and all the color patterns and just the very looks and the very feel of the ship make it a particular brand. So that's very interesting. That's basically what they're doing with the weapons as well. They want you to easily identify, okay, this is a weapon from that manufacturer. So that's pretty cool. Now we're going straight into the modularity of the satellites, which is also very interesting in my opinion, because the modularity of the satellites right here, like they're showing, those have to be easily distinguishable. Yeah, okay, I'm not so good in that word, but never mind about that. But you should easily see the function of the satellite. So for example, if this has a power unit on it, if it has shields, it has communication lines, if it has for example, maybe an air purifier or whatever you want to check out, you should easily see it when you look at the satellite right there. They made it very easily to just make a satellite so they can have a very lot of them. So that's very cool. I'm actually very eager to see the satellites in game. So here you got all this modular assets right here, like he's zooming in. You can probably walk around the satellite. As you can see here, you can actually go in. Actually, from a distance it looks like a pretty small satellite, but if you're in, then it really gets huge. It's so amazing. It's actually, I can even imagine it's probably even, there could be satellites which are even more huge than we have right now in the persistent universe. So that's pretty interesting. As you can see here, they can just add very much modules to one satellite and really go all out at everything they want. And they also got a lot of different satellites as well. So for example, if you are next to a sun or something, you need a lot of shielding and you don't need a lot of solar panels, because their solar panels are generating a lot of energy because you're so close to the sun. And for example, if you're far away from the sun, you need a lot of solar panels because the sun is not very intense and you have to generate a lot of power. And for example, even military satellites don't have solar panels because they're too fragile. So here we actually see small military satellite, medium military satellite, and large military satellite. Like I said, there's no solar panels. Those are military, and here you go, small com satellite, medium com satellite, and a large one, which I didn't really show, but wasn't very large, just from the shot I saw. So that's very cool. It's very cool that they actually thought about it, so we can easily see those in games. Now they actually are doing that with satellites to make this very cool modular system. But we're not only going to see satellites in game. I mean, with all this planetary technology we're getting, we will see buildings as well. A lot of buildings, I reckon. Actually, so many buildings because the planet has to feel populated. So they made this modular system also for rooms. So for example, as you can see here, he spawns a generator in a room, or he spawns bunks, or a kitchen, or whatever you want. And they actually made it very easily for the developer to just do it and create it on the fly. Actually, the developer said that they still have to place the house manually. So for example, I want to have a house next to a river or whatever. But I can imagine that is something they don't want to do in the future. I don't know. Maybe they actually, in the future, they say, okay, this is probably too much time consuming for developer and we want to have an, well, automatically generated process. But I can imagine that they will know how to figure it out. So this is actually the buildings which we are going to have in 3.0. Not the very big ones yet, but just starting off small. And this is probably the biggest we will have in 3.0, which will come out this year. Probably a little bit around December, I reckon, just if you ask me. So yeah, that's very cool. I'm looking forward to that as well, since I like a few buildings on the planet and I like to discover and maybe even see spawn points and what, etc. So here we go right into the stabilization issue. So here we actually got a GoPro attached to your head, which was basically what we had a long time. Probably not like this. This is a bit extreme. But this is basically what happens when you have a GoPro on your head and you're just walking around, and you will see a lot of image shaking and stuff because there's no stabilization at all. So a lot of complaints were had at the Star Citizen community because people get motion sick and you don't really want to have this. So then they had eye stabilization, which works pretty good. As you can see, the image is pretty stable, but it doesn't work always. There are some cases where it doesn't work, which will be shown in the next video. But as you can see, this looks pretty smooth. I really like it, as far as I can tell right now. And well, it's very stable. But there are a few issues though. For example, if you go next to a wall and go strafing, then it doesn't really work properly and it looks pretty awkward. Like you see, it's like you're bumping, right? It's like you're going up, down, up, down, up, down, which is something you don't really want, especially in a first-person shooter, because you want to focus on your gun, and if you're looking through a gun and just going up, down, up, down, up, down, that doesn't make any sense and it's not enjoyable. Also, if you're going close to walls and stuff, or close to any object, you really feel your head is kind of moving in a not very natural way. So I don't really want it. So there you see a chicken right there. They actually have a solution based on that chicken, how a chicken keeps their head steady, which is basically like a gimbal or something, or it's based on a joint. So that's something what they are doing right now, and this is pretty much how that looks like. So they're combining, for the vision stabilization, they're combining eye stabilization and head stabilization to actually get this result. And with stabilizing the head, I was thinking, okay, maybe that looks a bit awkward when you're stabilizing the head and you're, for example, you check your friend out and you see him stabilizing the head and he looks super epic. I mean, it looks very dumb, but the developer assured us that is not the case, because there's only a few centimeters correction and it doesn't look very awkward. Well, he said that. I was a bit disappointed he was not showing us the third-person view of someone with the proper vision stabilization, because now I can only rely on his word, and you guys also, so I just hope it doesn't look awkward, but the vision we're getting now sure feels very smooth and very cool. So yeah, that was it already for this ATV. I thank you all for watching, and I hope I see you guys in the next one. Here you just see the previous video and a random video. On the left you will actually see the Gamescom recap, which is still quite interesting because it happened just a moments ago. And on the right you will actually see the latest Star Marine development improvements, which also covers the ice stabilization thingies. But if you haven't seen it yet, it's pretty interesting. I also want to thank a very nice YouTuber, which is Kite Riley. He has provided me with the new music for the show, and I really like it. He actually made all this music available for free, and that's very cool because I was running a little bit out of music, and now I have a lot of music to add to the background to make my talking enjoyable. So I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.